Hi, I'm Tom Reddish. I have been member of People First of many years. Today we today I am with Tracy and Dehn. We are going to talk about citizenship advocacy.
Hi, my name is Tracy Adrian. I work for Grand Island Citizen Advocacy, and my job is a coordinator. I put together relationships between ordinary citizens and people who have disabilities.
Hello, I'm Dean Renter. I'm a retired accountant, and I am an advocate of Tom.
Citizen Advocacy was founded in Lincoln, Nebraska in 1970 by Dr. Wolfensberger. His concern was for deinstitutionalized adults with intellectual disabilities who needed friendship, protection, and practical support. The citizen advocacy model was created to respond to this concern and is based on Wolf's social role valorization framework. Grand Island Citizen Advocacy was incorporated in January 1975. In addition to Lincoln and Grand Island, Nebraska has citizen advocacy offices in Kearney, North Platte, and Omaha. The work of citizen advocacy occurs worldwide in programs throughout the United States, Canada, Europe, New Zealand, and Australia. It has been broadened to include all persons with developmental disabilities and mental illness. Citizen advocacy is a relationship-based form of protection and advocacy. It's a means to promote, protect, and defend the welfare and interests of, and justice for, people who are impaired in competence or diminished in status or seriously physically isolated through one-to-one voluntary commitments made to them by people with valued roles in the community. Citizen advocacy offices ask a valued citizen who is unpaid, independent of the human service system, and sufficiently free from conflict of interest to create a personal relationship with their partner. We ask the advocate to understand, respond to, and represent that person's interests as if they were the advocate's own, thus bringing their partner's gifts and concerns into the circles of ordinary community life in ways that are dignified and enhancing. Citizen advocates are supported by the Citizen Advocacy Office and choose from a wide range of functions and roles. Some of these commitments may last for life.
I have been friends with friends for 12 years. We are going to lunch, walk, and other things like to golf, frisbee, bowling. We like to sports, Nebraska. Football, my favorite team are Chicago Bulls and Green Bay Packers and University of Nebraska. We share news stories.
Yeah, we try to get together several times a month. With this most recent pandemic, we haven't been getting together as well as we should, although, of course, we're all protective of each other's health and things like that. But like Tom said, we have had a lot of activities, doing different things, including I even taught him how to drive a motorboat one time up at Sherman Reservoir. We oftentimes have lunch and just talk about sports all the time. It's the advocacy relationship is basically a friendship. And, I'm thinking about this, I recognize that, we all are friends with some people and not so friendly with other people. What makes that friendship is really common interests, and Tom and I certainly do have common interests, and when it comes to sports particularly, and just activities in mind. Tracy has been very helpful in putting together our relationship and keeping us, monitoring us during the year, asking how things are getting along and so on and so forth. What else can you add to that, Tracy?
Let's talk a bit about the process. After a citizen advocacy office identifies a person for whom an advocate will be recruited, whom we call the protege, we learn about the person's story and determine the unique qualities the potential advocate should possess. The coordinator contacts people with the identified qualities to educate them about citizen advocacy and ask them to consider becoming an advocate. After further orientation sessions and meetings to introduce the two parties, a match is declared when both partners agree to continue and the advocate's loyalty is clearly focused on the protege. The coordinator then shifts to supporting the relationship by supporting the advocate.
Since I was not the coordinator at the time when you guys were first matched, what was your introduction like? What did you do? Who matched you?
Do you remember our very first meeting, Tom?
Yeah, at a chicken coop in Dehn,
Diane
Diane Haney
Diane Haney.
introduced to me and Dehn, and we be friends.
We started talking about, I think at the time it was Nebraska football, and it was the end of August, if I remember, and started talking about Nebraska football and found out how we both love sports. Talked about the Chicago Bulls and how great Jordan was during his era. Do you remember what you ate at the chicken coop that day?
No.
I remember I had that pulled pork sandwich, and it was the very, very first time I had one.
Yep.
That's what I always have when I go back to the chicken coop.
It's the pulled pork sandwich.
You know, and come to think of it, we haven't been there for a while. So
That's true.
Yep.
I think that's the first place that we met with Tracy too, wasn't it?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We
on our anniversary.
on the
meeting.
anniversary dinner.
We ask citizen advocates to consider several relationship themes. Identification. We encourage identification with the person with a disability, putting themselves in their partner's shoes. Identification with a person is not a technical matter. It is more of a growing transformation in our own understanding and empathy. Also, it is not a light switch that some of us have and some of us do not. Rather, it is a never-ending struggle for all of us to deepen our ability to see ourselves reflected in another person. Active representation. We encourage active representation of the rights and interests of the person with a disability. Many people with disabilities at some point and time in their life will need another person to vigorously represent their interests in a situation in which their rights are being compromised or violated. Community. We encourage bringing the person with a disability into ordinary social and community life. Advocates will look to their own network of support, such as family, friends, co-workers, organizations, and influential people in the community, for some, maybe a lot, of the opportunities and ideas they bring to the person's life. Length. We encourage long-term commitments, working towards something big together, as well as sharing everyday experiences, seems to give both people purpose. Many citizen advocates create relationship rituals and find ways to make life more colorful and fulfilling.
Well, I imagine every one of your relationships are different in there, and just like friendships are different.
Yes.
And they take their own life or make their own life together.
Every one of them looks different. and that's on purpose.
Advocate independence. Advocates choose, together with their partner, the direction and content of their relationship. Each citizen advocate is independent of the Citizen Advocacy Office, of Human Services, and even of the partner's family. This allows the advocate to speak out and act with freedom and clarity. Positive imagery. Citizen advocacy strives to be a model of positive interpretations and images of people with disabilities. We ask advocates to engage and represent their partner in ways which are dignified and enhancing.
What's been the highlight of your time together?
Well, I just like his perspective on things. I mean, I think we all have different opinions and things like that, and he definitely has a different perspective on some things that I do, and I hope it's vice versa as well. But just being together, friendship is kind of soothing for me. And like, how about you?
Same.
Good.
What's your highlight then? Has there been a favorite time or a favorite thing you've done?
No.
No. Tell me more about the boat.
He let me drive the boat.
Yeah?
Yeah. I did a good job.
I'll bet you did.
Yeah. Almost threw me over.
Oh, yeah, right.
I don't know if I'd like to ski behind you boat driving, but
Ooh. We could try that next time.
yeah, you'd probably drag me. Anyway.
What have you learned from your partner? What have you learned from Dehn? What have you learned from Tom?
Learn from him.
Mm-hmm.
Everything.
Everything?
Yeah.
Well, we all have our weaknesses, and one of Tom's weaknesses is mathematics. I've been working on him,
Yep.
Trying to teach him some math. One of the things that I've learned is about his family life and some of the medical, your brother having colon surgery and cancer and some things that certainly have a great deal of empathy on family health problems. Your mom being 95 years old, and certainly a concern for all of us. And I guess life goes on. So
Yeah.
it's certainly been a different year with this COVID.
Yeah.
It has. Yeah.
And we sure do miss football, don't we?
Yep.
I hear we're going to get to see some of that.
Yeah.
2 more weeks, I guess. So.
Well, you guys got big plans for the first game or anything? Or
I don't know. I no longer have cable TV, so I'm going to have to go over to
Different
you guys
plans.
and watch TV.
There we go.
Tom used to be quite a gamer and buying and renting games all the time.
Uh-huh.
You kind of let go of that lately.
Yeah. With the COVID-19.
How would you describe your relationship to other people? How do you describe your relationship to other people?
Something bad to say about me, Don. I
No.
speed, I drive recklessly.
No. You do not speed.
Tom and I joke a lot. We have a lot of fun together. Ooh, I'm interested to see what Tom says about that.
I don't know.
So when people ask you, who's this Dehn guy? What do you do with him?
I'm going out with lunch with him and do stuff, and we're just friends.
October 10th, we're going to be available to answer some questions from the other people. Tracy I understand
She won't be there. I'm going to miss you.
Yes.
is going to have company that weekend.